Here are some curiosities about Iraq that you're going to love. Did you know that Iraq is the country with the highest date production in the world? There are more than 400 different varieties. Iraqis are so passionate about dates that they can identify each type just by taste. The medjool date, known as the king of dates, is one of the most valuable and can cost up to $20 per kilo. Your help is essential. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon. It's your support that allows us to continue exploring the world's hidden treasures. We're counting on you. And speaking of records, the Wadi al-Salam Cemetery in Najaf is the largest cemetery in the world. With more than 5 million graves, it's so large that it can be seen from space. Shia Muslims from all over the planet dream of being buried there to be close to Imam Ali. Now get ready for this. The wheel, yes, the wheel, was invented in Iraq over 5,000 years ago. The Sumerians not only created the wheel but also invented writing, beer, and even the first mathematics system we use today. When you look at a clock and see 60 minutes in an hour, you're using the system created by the Babylonians. Another fascinating curiosity: Baghdad was once the richest and most advanced city in the entire world. In the 9th century, it had over 1 million inhabitants while London had only 15,000. The city had illuminated streets, public hospitals with specialist doctors, and the famous House of Wisdom, where scholars of all religions worked together translating and preserving knowledge from ancient civilizations. And do you think Iraq is just desert? Think again. In the north of the country, in Iraqi Kurdistan, there are mountains that exceed 3,500 meters in height, covered with snow in winter. There's even a ski resort called Korek. That's right, you can ski in Iraq. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, would have been built in Iraq. Although its actual existence is debated, legend says that King Nebuchadnezzar II built terraces filled with trees and exotic flowers for his wife who missed the green mountains of her homeland. Here's a gastronomic curiosity. Maskauf, Iraq's national dish, is a whole fish opened like a book and slowly grilled over tamarind wood fire. The result is so delicious that many consider it the best grilled fish in the world. And to finish, something that will surprise you. The word algebra comes from the Arabic al-jabr and was developed in Baghdad by the mathematician al-Khwarizmi in the 9th century. Actually, the word algorithm comes from his name. So every time you use mathematics or computers, you're using knowledge that was born in Iraq. Iraq is not just ancient history. It's a living country, full of natural beauty, millennial traditions, and incredibly hospitable people. Its contribution to humanity is simply immeasurable. So, how many of these curiosities did you already know? Leave in the comments which one surprised you the most. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support makes all the difference to continue bringing amazing content like this. Now let's talk about this wonderful country. Cradle of civilization, eternal Mesopotamia. Welcome to a fascinating journey through one of the oldest and most extraordinary lands in humanity. Today we will explore Iraq, a country that many know only from news headlines, but which hides millennia-old treasures that shaped all of Western civilization. Imagine for a moment, more than 5,000 years ago, while most of the world lived in nomadic tribes, here, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, the first cities arose, the first written laws, the first form of writing known to man. This is Iraq, ancient Mesopotamia, whose name literally means land between rivers. It was on this sacred soil that the wheel was born, not just as a tool, but as a symbol of human ingenuity. The Sumerians, who inhabited these lands around 3500 BC, not only invented the wheel but also developed cuneiform writing, those wedge-shaped characters engraved on clay tablets that represent the first written records in human history. And when we talk about first records, we must mention the Code of Hammurabi. Created around 1750 BC, this set of 282 laws is considered one of the first complete legal codes in history. Engraved on a black diorite stele over 2 meters high, the code established principles of justice that would influence legal systems for millennia. The famous expression, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, comes directly from this Babylonian code. But Mesopotamia wasn't just about laws and order. It was a cauldron of creativity and knowledge. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, would have been built by King Nebuchadnezzar II for his wife, who missed the green mountains of her homeland. Although its existence is debated by historians, the legend speaks of elevated terraces filled with trees, flowers, and exotic plants, irrigated by an ingenious system of aqueducts. The Tower of Babel, mentioned in the Book of Genesis, was probably inspired by Mesopotamian ziggurats, enormous stepped pyramid-shaped temples. The most famous, the Etamananki in Babylon, would have reached 90 meters in height. These monumental structures served as bridges between heaven and earth, places where the gods descended to communicate with mortals. The mathematics we use today, based on the sexagesimal system of 60 units, comes directly from the Babylonians. That's why we have 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 360 degrees in a circle. The Mesopotamians were brilliant astronomers, mapping the movement of planets and creating the first lunar calendars. Ur, one of the most important city-states of Sumeria, was the home of Abraham, a fundamental figure for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Archaeological excavations at Ur revealed a royal cemetery with incredible treasures, lyres decorated with bull heads in gold, game boards inlaid with lapis lazuli, jewelry of impressive technical sophistication. This first chapter is just an introduction to what we will discover. Iraq is not just ancient history in dusty books. It is a living country, where past and present intertwine in surprising and beautiful ways. In the next episodes, we will explore its sacred cities, its millennial cuisine, its breathtaking landscapes, and the traditions that have survived through the centuries. Baghdad, the city of 1,001 nights. Baghdad. Just pronouncing this name evokes images of golden palaces, markets perfumed with spices, and stories of Scheherazade telling tales to save her life. But the real Baghdad surpasses any fantasy from the 1,001 Nights. Founded in 762 by the Abbasid Caliph al-Mansur, Baghdad was planned as the perfect city. Its shape was circular, a unique design at the time, with the Caliph's palace exactly in the center. The city's triple walls were so impressive that they took 4 years to build, with 100,000 workers involved. The round city, as it was known, had 4 main gates oriented by the cardinal points, symbolizing that Baghdad was the center of the Islamic world. During the Islamic Golden Age, between the 8th and 13th centuries, Baghdad was the most advanced city on the planet. With a population that reached over 1 million inhabitants, it was larger than any European city of the time. The streets were lit at night, there were sanitation systems, public hospitals, and a cultural effervescence without parallel. Your help is essential. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon. It's your support that allows us to continue exploring the world's hidden treasures. We're counting on you. The House of Wisdom, founded by Caliph al-Ma'mun in the 9th century, was a library and translation center without equal. Here, scholars of all religions and backgrounds worked together, translating Greek, Persian, Indian, and Chinese works into Arabic. They preserved and expanded the knowledge of Aristotle, Plato, Euclid, and many others. Without the House of Wisdom, much of classical knowledge would have been lost forever. It was in Baghdad that al-Khwarizmi developed algebra. The word itself comes from the Arabic al-Jabr. It was here that physicians like al-Razi wrote medical encyclopedias that would be used in Europe for centuries. The Al-Adudi Hospital, built in the 10th century, had 24 specialist physicians, its own pharmacy, and even a medical library. Baghdad's markets were legendary. The Suq al-Thalatha, the Tuesday market, still operates today, selling everything from Persian carpets to rare spices. The aroma of cardamom, saffron, cinnamon, and cumin mixes in the air. Vendors offer dates of dozens of different varieties. Iraq produces more than 400 varieties of dates, and many Iraqis can distinguish them by taste alone. The Al-Sarafia Bridge over the Tigris River has connected the 2 banks of Baghdad for over 100 years. Walking across it at sunset, seeing the golden reflection in the water, is to witness the same view that inspired poets for centuries. The Tigris River is not just geography, it is the soul of Baghdad, the thread that sews together millennia of history. Al-Mutanabi Street is the literary heart of Baghdad. Every Friday, This street transforms into an open-air book market, where bibliophiles gather to buy, sell, and discuss literature. Named after the famous 10th-century Abbasid poet al-Mutanabi, this tradition has survived wars, invasions, and turmoil. It is a testament to the Iraqi passion for the written word. Baghdad is also famous for its maskauf, considered the national dish of Iraq. It is a fish, usually carp, opened like a book, marinated with spices, and slowly grilled over tamarind wood fire. The result is a succulent, smoky meat that melts in your mouth. Eating maskauf on the banks of the Tigris is an almost religious experience for Iraqis. Despite the trials of the 20th and 21st centuries, Baghdad maintains its spirit. Its mosques with blue and golden domes still dominate the skyline. The call to prayer 5 times a day echoes through the streets as it has for over 1,000 years. Baghdad is resilience personified, a city that refuses to be defined only by its darkest moments. Sacred cities and World Heritage Sites. Iraq is home to some of the holiest places of the 3 great Abrahamic religions. Let's explore these cities where faith and history meet in profound ways. Najaf, located about 160 kilometers south of Baghdad, is one of the holiest cities for Shia Muslims. It is here that Ali ibn Abi Talib, cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad, and the first Imam of Shia Islam, is buried. The Imam Ali Shrine, with its brilliant golden dome visible for kilometers, attracts millions of pilgrims annually. The dome was covered with 7,077 pure gold tiles. At night, when illuminated, it seems to float over the city like a second moon. Najaf also houses the Wadi al-Salam, the Valley of Peace, which is the largest cemetery in the world. With an area of 6 square kilometers and more than 5 million graves, this sacred cemetery receives bodies of Shias from around the world who wish to be buried near Imam Ali. Walking through its countless rows of stone tombs is a humbling experience that puts the brevity of human life into perspective. Karbala, just 80 kilometers from Baghdad, is the site of the martyrdom of Hussein ibn Ali, grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, in 680 AD. The Battle of Karbala is the defining event that solidified the division between Sunnis and Shias in Islam. The Shrine of Hussein, with its golden domes and minarets, is possibly the most emotionally charged site in the Shia world. During Ashura, the 10th day of the Islamic month of Muharram, millions of pilgrims walk to Karbala in one of the largest religious pilgrimages in the world. But Iraq is not sacred only to Muslims. Which we mentioned earlier, is crucial for Jews and Christians as the home of Abraham. The ruins of the great ziggurat of built over 4,000 years ago, can still be visited. Climbing its brick steps is literally walking in Abraham's footsteps. Erbil, in Iraqi Kurdistan, boasts being the oldest continuously inhabited city in the world, with settlements dating back at least 6,000 years. Its citadel, an artificial mound elevated in the center of the old city, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The restored Ottoman houses within the citadel offer a glimpse of life in past centuries. Samarra, north of Baghdad, features the Great Mosque of Samarra with its iconic spiral minaret, Al-Malwiya. Built in the 9th century, this minaret is 52 meters high, and its external spiral ramp, unique in Islamic architecture, allows you to climb to the top. The view from above, observing the Tigris River winding through the Mesopotamian landscape, is breathtaking. Hatra, another UNESCO World Heritage Site, is an ancient fortified city built in the 2nd century BC. It was the capital of the First Arab Kingdom and resisted Roman invasions twice thanks to its massive fortifications. Hatra's temples combine Greek, Roman, and Oriental architecture in a unique way, with Corinthian columns adorning sanctuaries dedicated to Arab and Mesopotamian gods. Babylon, perhaps the most famous of all ancient cities, is located 85 kilometers south of Baghdad. Although much has been lost over millennia, it is still possible to walk through the reconstructed Ishtar Gate, admiring its lapis lazuli bricks decorated with golden bulls and dragons. Reconstruction efforts have been controversial among archaeologists, but for visitors, it is an opportunity to visualize Babylon's ancient glory. The Awar marshes in southern Iraq are both a cultural and natural heritage. These marshes were home to the marsh Arabs, the Madan, who lived in floating reed houses for thousands of years. Almost completely drained under Saddam Hussein, The marshes were restored after 2003 and are now again a thriving ecosystem, home to rare species of birds and fish. Boat tours through the reed canals at dawn, watching water buffalo and herons, are experiences of primitive, untouched beauty. Natural treasures and surprising landscapes. When we think of Iraq, we rarely imagine snow-covered mountains, crystal-clear waterfalls, or green valleys. But northern Iraq, particularly the Kurdistan region, offers some of the most spectacular landscapes in the Middle East. The Zagros mountain range, which extends through northern and eastern Iraq, reaches altitudes of over 3,500 meters. In winter, its peaks are covered with snow, creating scenery worthy of the Alps. Ski resorts like Korek, near Erbil, attract winter sports enthusiasts. Imagine skiing in Iraq. It's an image that defies all stereotypes. Gali Ali Beg is a spectacular gorge with a waterfall approximately 40 meters high. The icy water from the mountains falls into a crystalline natural pool, surrounded by dramatic cliffs. In summer, when temperatures in the plains can exceed 50 degrees Celsius, this mountain oasis remains refreshingly cool. Kurdish families picnic by the water, and the sound of the waterfall echoes through the mountains. Shanidar Cave, in the Zagros Mountains, is one of the most important archaeological sites in the world for understanding our Neanderthal ancestors. Excavations here revealed that Neanderthals buried their dead with flowers over 60,000 years ago, suggesting ritual behavior and perhaps even religious beliefs. This cave tells a story about the profound antiquity of human presence in these lands. Lake Dukan, a reservoir created by a dam on the Lesser Zab River, is surrounded by mountains and offers landscapes of serene beauty. Its turquoise-blue waters reflect the sky and surrounding mountains. It is a popular location for boat trips, fishing, and simply contemplating nature. Ahmad Awa, also known as the Cave of 1,000 Lanterns, is a cave system with stalactites and stalagmites formed over millions of years. The rock formations create fantastic shapes that look like natural sculptures. The constant temperature inside the cave makes it a perfect refuge from the scorching Iraqi summer heat. Your help is essential. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon. It's your support that allows us to continue exploring the world's hidden treasures. We're counting on you. In spring, the mountains of Kurdistan transform into carpets of wildflowers. Red poppies, yellow and white wild tulips, purple irises cover the slopes in an explosion of color. This phenomenon, which lasts only a few weeks, transforms the landscape into something almost surreal in its beauty. The wheat and barley fields of the Mesopotamian plains, golden under the setting sun, stretch to the horizon like an undulating sea. This is the same land that fed the first civilizations millennia ago. Agriculture here is not just an economic activity, it is a living connection to humanity's deepest past. The Shat al-Arab, formed by the confluence of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, creates a rich and fertile delta before flowing into the Persian Gulf. Date palms grow in abundance here, and small islands formed by sediment create an aquatic labyrinth. The city of Basra, on the banks of the Shat al-Arab, was historically known as the Venice of the East, due to its numerous canals. The Hawizza Nature Reserve, part of the restored Mesopotamian marshes, is a biodiversity sanctuary. Endangered species such as the smooth-coated otter and several endemic fish species inhabit here. More than 200 species of birds migrate through these marshes, including the rare northern bald ibis. Birdwatchers from around the world come here to witness this avian diversity. The western desert of Iraq, although arid, has its own austere beauty. Red sand dunes stretch endlessly, and at night, far from any light pollution, the night sky explodes with stars. The Bedouins who still live in this desert maintain traditions of hospitality and stellar navigation that date back centuries. The hot springs of Hammam al-Alal, near Mosul, have been known since antiquity for their healing properties. Mineral-rich water emerges from the earth at temperatures of 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. Although many of the ancient baths have been damaged, the site remains a testament to the region's unique geology. Living culture, traditions, art and flavors. To truly understand Iraq, we need to go beyond monuments and landscapes. We need to experience the richness of its living culture, which pulses through its music, art, cuisine, and traditions that have survived millennia. Iraqi music is a hypnotizing fusion of Arab, Persian, Turkish, and Kurdish influences. The Iraqi makam, a traditional genre of vocal music, was recognized by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Makam performances can last hours, with the singer exploring complex musical modes and vocal improvisations that require years of training to master. The oud, an ancestral stringed instrument of the European lute, is central to Iraqi music, its deep and resonant sound evoking both melancholy and joy. Munir Bashir, considered one of the greatest oud players of the 20th century, revolutionized the way the instrument was played, elevating it from an accompanying role to a solo instrument capable of expressing the full range of human emotions. His music transcended cultural boundaries, proving that the language of music is truly universal. Poetry is almost a religion in Iraq. From ancient times to today, Iraqis have venerated their poets. Badr Shakir al-Sayyab, one of the founders of the free verse movement in Arabic poetry, used metaphors from ancient Mesopotamia in his modernist poems. Natsik al-Malaika, one of the first women to write free verse in Arabic, challenged both literary and social conventions. Poetry recitals still attract crowds in Baghdad cafes, where the oral tradition remains strong. Arabic calligraphy in Iraq is considered high art. The Kufic style, developed in Kufa, a city south of Baghdad, is characterized by its angular and geometric lines. Modern Iraqi calligraphers like Hassan Masoudi combine tradition with innovation, creating works that are simultaneously text and abstract visual art. Their works adorn mosques, museums, and galleries around the world. Iraqi cuisine is a feast for the senses. We already mentioned maskouf, but there is so much more. Tepsi baytinajan is an eggplant casserole, ground meat, tomato, and potato, cooked until the flavors merge in harmony. Dolma, vegetables stuffed with seasoned rice, meat, and herbs, is prepared with patience and love, each pepper or grape leaf carefully stuffed by hand. Kuba, bulgur dumplings stuffed with seasoned meat, comes in numerous variations. Kuba hameth is cooked in a sour broth of chard and tamarind. Kuba mosul is stuffed with nuts and raisins, a heritage of Assyrian cuisine from the region. Each city, each family has its own secret recipes, passed down through generations. Iraqi tea, strong and generously sweetened, is more than a drink, it is a social ritual. Served in small glass cups, it is the first thing offered to any visitor. Refusing tea is considered an offense. Sitting in a traditional cafe, sipping tea while watching the world go by, playing backgammon or dominoes, is to experience the slower and more contemplative rhythm of Iraqi life. Iraqi carpets, particularly Kurdish ones, are works of textile art. Hand-woven on traditional looms, each carpet tells a story through its patterns and colors. Geometric designs intertwine with floral motifs and stylized animals. Colors are obtained from natural dyes, red from madder root, blue from indigo, yellow from saffron. A single carpet can take months or even years to complete. Traditional Kurdish attire, especially for festive occasions, is spectacularly colorful. Men wear loose tunics with wide belts and elaborate turbans. Women wear embroidered dresses in vibrant colors with silk headscarves. Kurdish weddings are extravagant celebrations that can last days, with traditional dabke dancing, where participants hold hands in long lines, stepping and jumping in sync with the pulsating music. Iraqi hospitality is legendary. An Arabic proverb says, "The guest is the beloved of God." Even the poorest families will generously share the little they have. Meals are communal events, with large trays of rice, meat, and vegetables placed in the center, and everyone eating together, often with their hands, as is traditional. This sense of community and sharing is the heart of Iraqi culture. Religious festivals, whether Islamic like Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, or Christian like Christmas celebrated by Assyrian and Chaldean communities, are marked by communal prayers, feasts, and distribution of alms to the poor. During Ramadan, the streets come alive after sunset with iftar, the breaking of the fast, and cities glow with decorative lights. Contemporary Iraq is rediscovering and celebrating its heritage. Young artists are using graffiti to transform walls destroyed by war into vibrant murals. Musicians are fusing traditional makam with jazz and rock. Chefs are reinventing classic dishes with modern techniques. This synthesis of old and new, traditional and contemporary, is the essence of modern Iraq. Conclusion. We have reached the end of this journey through Iraq, but in reality, we have only scratched the surface of this extraordinary land. From Sumerian ziggurats to snow-covered Kurdish mountains, from the golden domes of Najaf to the millennial marshes of the south, Iraq is a country of impressive contrasts and enduring beauty. It is a land that reminds us that human civilization is ancient and deep, that people have been creating art, law, literature, and music for millennia. It is also a land that demonstrates resilience, where traditions persist despite unimaginable trials. Iraq is not just its glorious past or its recent challenges. It is a living country, with people who love, laugh, create, and dream, just like people anywhere. Their stories deserve to be told, their beauty deserves to be recognized, their humanity deserves to be celebrated. I hope this series has expanded your understanding and appreciation for this remarkable country. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey through time and space, through history and culture, through the land between two rivers that changed the world forever.